All right, welcome to Taylor Ham Tuesday. I'm just coming in for lunch here, and I just made up a Taylor ham lettuce and tomato sandwich here. You might call it a THLT, or for you pork roll guys out there, a PRLT there. And I got this on some sourdough bread here with some mayonnaise. And interesting, growing up in New Jersey there, we had Hellmann's mayonnaise. And out here we got Best Foods mayonnaise. But if you read on the back of the jar, on the Best Foods bottle, it says east of the Rockies, known as Hellmann's mayonnaise. Interesting stuff there. But I got a lot to share with you guys here today. And one of those is this morning I went out on a hike. I live here on Bainbridge Island in the Great Pacific Northwest. And today's hike was inspired by Scout Crafter there, John. And John, on his channel earlier this month here, he showed a Mammoth Tree Contest that he put up. And I guess he used to do this in the Scouts when he was a Scout leader, and he said it was a great thing to get the boys out of the house and go look for the biggest tree in their town there. And I think it's just great because it's great for me to get me out of the house there and go hunt around for the biggest tree in the area here. And, you know I live here in the Pacific Northwest, and it's known for its great giant trees out here. There's big redwoods, and there's big cedars and firs and all kinds of big trees around. And so today I did a great little hike, and I went down and I found some pretty big trees. So I'm going to show you that footage here a little bit later. But first, I want to get busy on a project here in the shop. And today's project is, I don't know if you guys saw the video I did a while back. I made this little tool pouch here, and this just goes on the belt. And this holds a tape measure, a knife, a pen, pencil, whatever you want to put scribe there, maybe a pair of pliers. And this has just been great. Nice to put on the side here and just carry some basic essential tools there. But I wanted to make one for the other side, and I want to make a cell phone holder. Now I want to be able to take my phone and just slide it into a little pouch there. I don't really like putting the phone in my pocket, or sometimes I'm putting it in this pocket here of the old Filson vest there. But I thought it'd be a cool project today to make that out of leather. So I'm gonna get cracking on that. But first, I'm gonna dive in and get a nice bite of this sandwich here. All right, that's good. All right, I'm gonna eat this and we're gonna get to work. All right, first up, I want to send out an open invitation to anyone who wants to send in a picture of their Taylor ham egg and cheese sandwiches, or your pork roll sandwiches, or any kind of Taylor ham creation there. And I will post it up here on each Taylor Ham Tuesday. You can send it to John at rightonwithjohncrane.com. And here is the first submission right here. This is from Dave at Gray Ledge CNC, who sent in that awesome tap follower for me. And Dave has got a Taylor ham pizza going on here, and it looks awesome. So send in your pics, and I'll post them each week here on Taylor Ham Tuesday. All right, check out this old brush right here. Isn't this cool? There's probably people out there that collect old brushes here. This is probably some sort of horsehair brush or something, but I got a bunch of different brushes like this, and I just think these are really cool. All right, so the project here, right, is based on this little tool pouch here that I made a while back, right? Holds a couple tools, the tape measure, the knife, and it's got a little pouch here, and right, just hooks onto the belt there. And this has just been great. So now I'm going to make the cell phone holder, right? So I have the old patterns here, you know, that I keep for making these, right? And I'm modifying that pattern a little bit. So here is the back, right? And this is going to fold down. and this is going to be some of the modification here, is that I'm going to cut this at a slight slant here. So when this folds down, I'm going to put 2 rivets right here, you know, and then this slides over the belt. And I think this might be good to have a little bit narrower piece here on the back. And then, right, I got this piece that I'm going to cut out. This is for the wet molded piece. And by wet molded piece, that's kind of a piece like this here that is shaped in a mold there. You soak it in water, and then it will attach to the front here, and a cell phone will slide in. And I have this wet mold here that I made up for this new one here. Now this is a piece of PVC board that I have. That stuff is pretty cool stuff. This is 3.5 inches wide. It's 1 inch tall. And then I put this little ring around it, and you put the wet molded leather in there and clamp this down. So, all right, so I'm going to start cutting out the leather here. And the leather that I like to use for these projects, and one of my favorite leathers, is this veg tan leather right here. Now this is a nice piece here. This is some 8-ounce veg tan leather, and I just think this stuff really turns out nice looking and gets a nice patina going on there. So, all right, I'm gonna drop these patterns onto here and start cutting this out. All right, my first piece, I'm gonna cut out right here into the leather. So I'm gonna drop the pattern on here, and I'm just coming in with an awl there, just to scribe this around and get my marks. All right, now I'm gonna cut this out with this hook blade here. All right, now time for the wet mold here. Now I just went up and I got a Pyrex dish here full of some hot tap water. Usually I got a plastic bin, but I'm not sure where that bin is actually. So I got the Pyrex here and just hot tap water. Now it doesn't have to be boiling water. You know, we're not looking to make this into a rawhide or something. We just want to slightly soak this in some hot water here. And this will soften up very quickly. It doesn't have to be in here for that long at all. I'll probably leave it in there for 30 seconds, that type of thing. And this is some thick leather. This is 8-ounce leather here. This is just over 1/8 inch thick. All right, that's about 30 seconds right there. And now I'm gonna put this right on to my wet mold. And I have a little line right here. And let's see. No, I'll do it just like this. I like this grain of the leather running in that direction there. And I'll just kind of center this on here and come in with the top piece here. All right, that clamped down very nicely there. The mold looks like it's working great. Sandwiched nice and tight there. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a few hours, and even better to put this out in the sun there and get it drying. All right, while the wet mold piece is drying, I'm gonna shape the corners on this back piece. And with those corners around it now I'm going to come in with a number 2 edge beveler here. And this is a nice little tool just to take off the edges just before burnishing. Boy, I tell you, that sandwich was so good and that nice morning hike. I could go for a nap right now. All right, I'll start beveling these edges here. That just gives a nice little edge there before burnishing. All right, now there's lots of ways of burnishing leather, and burnishing is just laying down the fibers on the edge of the leather and giving it a nice clean look. You'll see on the edge of a lot of belts, it has a nice burnished look there. And you can do it with a little wooden hand slicker. That's a good way to do it. I have a wood burnishing wheel here that I can put here on this little Craftsman motor here. And but one way that I really like is using this right here is a wool wheel here. Now this is solid wool, compacted, and it is a consumable. It starts to wear away, but boy, it really does a really nice job. And I just put a little of this beeswax on here, and then I rub the edges on here. And yeah, this is a great little grinder too. I think John over there, Scout Crafter, actually has the same one I see in his videos there. All right, let's do up these edges here. I'll run a little wax on here. And then I just take the edge, right, and I just run it in a little groove right here. And it kind of starts to almost burn the fibers. It's heating the wax, melting it into the edge there. And boy, look at that edge. That just comes out dynamite. It's looking really good. Yeah, the wool wheel is a nice way to go. That is just quick and easy and really looks great. Look at that. And we're done, right? And what was that? 30 seconds? All right, now I'm gonna pop this out of the mold and see how we did. Right? Look at that. That is so nice. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, now I'm gonna stick this out in the sun, or you can even put this in an oven at a low temperature and let that dry out completely. Sometimes I put it next to the fireplace at night there if I'm doing this in the wintertime type of thing, and it dries out overnight. All right, you guys that have been watching my channel for a while know that I love the snow seal here for the leather. It's a nice beeswax product, and I like to come in here with the heat gun, give this leather a nice heating, rub it down with the snow seal, and work in a few coats here. All right, look at that. Doesn't that look fabulous? I just love the color here, and it's a little bit of a mottled look on there. Beautiful. Look at the plums here on the plum tree. I just saw a deer out here snacking. It's chewing all the leaves off of this, but good for him, you know. This is some good eating there. And I gotta come out here and pick some of these and make a little pie or something. All right, here is this wet mold piece, and it's all dried out now, and it's amazing how well that works and how strong and stiff that is, especially with this 8-ounce leather there, and this just came out great. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this out so this fits right on top, just like this, and I'm gonna come in with a couple rivets. I like using these copper saddler's rivets here, and I'm going to put one in each corner type of thing here. and then also do some stitching down the sides and stitching across here. And also on the inside of this portion right here, I'm going to line this with a black piece of felt there and make it so it's a nice, firm, positive grip on the phone there. All right, what I got now is some heavy-duty black felt here, and you might have seen me use this in the Kennedy toolbox restoration video there, and I lined all the drawers with this, and this is about an 1/8 inch thick. It's some really heavy-duty stuff there. So what I'm going to do is just cut an oversized piece here that I'm going to glue in to this piece of leather here. So I'm just going to cut this oversized right for now. All right, just a nice little square here. Cutting a pizza there. All right, now I'm gonna give each side a good coat with the barge cement here. And if you guys haven't used this stuff here is as old as Methuselah there. And this is great glue. It's used to put soles on the shoes. It is super strong, and so this is great purpose right here for gluing these two things together. And what you do is you put a coat on each side and then you let it dry, and a lot of times I just use a heat gun and I speed up the process. All right, now it's time to carefully press these two together, and hopefully I can make this happen and figure out the best way to get this in there. I think I'm gonna start in the center, and as soon as this stuff makes contact, it's locked in there. All right, now I'm going to come in with the rotary cutter here and trim off this excess. All right, pretty nice. That turned out pretty clean there. And so now, right, this will get attached to the back here. But before I attach this to the back, I got to fold this around and rivet it down here to the back. Right, it's time to break out this awesome anvil here. I just love using this thing. It has been great. Very nice. Nice and strong. I love those saddler rivets there. All right, I'm over here at the Consew 206RB. This is one of my favorite machines here in the shop. And check back, I think that was my first video I ever did, was on this machine, constructing this table. And this machine is just rock solid. I just love using this. So what I'm thinking here is, where this felt is right along here, I want to put a row of stitching all along here, and I just want to make sure that this never peels apart there, putting the phone in and out type of thing. So I'm gonna try to flatten this out, right? And then come across with this stitching right here, and that should lock that in there real nice. A little reverse stitch. Back forward. All right. This is a walking foot machine, and this thing just works amazingly. Punching right through this heavy duty leather here. A little reverse stitch. And there we go. Yeah, look at that. That looks great. That looks great. All right, now I want to put a rivet in each corner here and attach this to this. So I put a mark there with the awl, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to put these holes through this here first. All right, now I'll attach this bottom side here first. All right, drop my little copper washer on here. All right, very cool. All right, and I'll trim this off. All right, I'm back over here at the Consew, and I think I can just barely sneak in here with the zipper foot and get a nice line of stitching along the outside of this. I got the pulley reduction on this machine here, so I can have this machine go super slow. Let's see, we're going through 2 layers of 8-ounce and a layer of felt. This is some pretty heavy duty sewing here. And a little back stitch here to lock it. A little back stitch to lock it. All right, for those of you curious here about the Consew, this is a Consew 206RB, and I am running a heavy thread in here. I am running Consew 207 in here, which is some pretty heavy thread, and I am using a 160/23 leather needle here, and if you can see up close here, this is kind of a chisel tip here. And if you're gonna sew heavy leather, you need a needle like this, a nice strong needle. So, right, great machine. All right, well, there it is. I think that turned out pretty slick there. I put my old phone in my case there, and yeah, that drops in real nice. And I like it sticking out a little bit at the top there, so it's just easy to grab, you know, in and out, that type of thing. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's a nice snug fit in there. Yeah, I really like how that turned out. Yeah. And it feels pretty comfortable here on the belt there, right? You could put it on either side there. And I guess you could put the screen to the inside or to the outside there. But yeah, pretty slick. All right, nice. All right, now this is a very old trail on Bainbridge Island, dating back to 1909. And this would go down to a ferry dock where the mosquito fleet would bring passengers over to Bainbridge Island long before there were even cars on the island. So this goes way back, and there's some big trees here. All right, now there's some pretty big trees in here, but we are on the hunt for a big one. All right, here's a big old stump right here. You just think, oh, the bark has gone off of this thing, but look, it's got the cutouts here where they put the springboards in, you know, when the loggers got up there with the axes and the saws there. But there's these big old stumps all through this forest right here. Amazing. All right, this is a pretty massive tree. I know it's hard to tell, but just down the road here, down the trail, look at the size of this right here. This tree is gigantic. All right, here is this huge tree here. I just ran into a fella that referred to this as the Taft tree. I guess Taft came out to visit and they named this after him. This is one big tree, but I guess it cracked off and the top is blown out. It's kind of hard to tell how big it is, so I'll go down and stand in front of it and I'll see if I can wrap a tape measure around it. All right, looks to be about 26 feet 6 inches there, give or take. And this tree is just gigantic. Look at this thing, massive. Look at the bark on this tree. This bark must be at least a foot thick or more on the outside of this tree here. Here is this other huge tree. This one's pretty gigantic too. "23 feet 4 inches here. That's a pretty hefty sized tree as well. Nice cedar right here. A little bit hollowed out. All right, seen some fires in here, see the charring in here. Nonetheless, a huge tree. Banana slugs here. All right, right on, right on. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode there of Taylor Ham Tuesday. There's a lot going on. And don't forget to send in your pictures of your Taylor Ham egg and cheese sandwiches and your Taylor Ham creations there, and or pork roll egg and cheese sandwiches. And I will post those on Taylor Ham Tuesday on these videos. And you can send that to john@rightonwithjohncrane.com. And I'll try to get those pictures up in a video there. And right, we had a lot going on. We had the cell phone belt case here, and that's pretty cool. And, you know, who knows, maybe I'll make a few of those available for purchase there if there's some interest in that. And right, we have the Mammoth Tree Contest there with Scout Crafter, and what a fun time that is. And I think I'll make that a regular occurrence there, heading out maybe every few weeks and find a huge tree. There is a lot of huge trees around here. And that is just so fun going out and doing a little hike and pulling out the tape measure. So thanks a lot there to Scout Crafter for that. And yeah, coming up next week, look at this big wrench I got right here. And this might be the wrench that I scale up to the 8-foot size and I cut out of foam on the hot wire foam cutter that I made last week on Taylor Ham Tuesday there. And I'll probably clean this wrench up, do a little restoration, and then scale this up to the 8-foot size. I got a few other tools. Here's some nice Lufkin calipers that I found. I'm gonna clean those up. And here's this mystery uni tool here. I'm going to show how this thing works next week. And right, sent in by George there. So anyhow, I hope you guys are all great, and I will see you all soon. All right, right on.